All right, wanted to talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers again here. So last week, I talked about how this game was just super entirely rigged. It was ridiculous. If you read the description in my last video, it was so rigged with the number 34 and to do with Abe Lincoln, Nebraska, and Lincoln. So I decided to look up the team that they're playing this week, just because I didn't do it the last week. So anyway, the game is on September 12th, and I've been talking about September 13th like crazy, but something is telling me again it is all about the day before. The day before just keeps popping up over and over again. In my last video, I went back to it, but even like I just noticed right now, right, there's a supposed man fake or a Florida man accused of plotting to have a 9/11 memorial bomb plot or whatever. I mean, seriously, let me find it here. Let's find the guy's name. Joshua Rin Goldberg. And it's the day before 9/11. But anyway, his name is Gematria. 144. If you just do Joshua Goldberg, 144. I mean, how many times have we talked about that? 89. His full name in Gematria, 89. 89. There's 144 days left until the end of the year, even. I mean, I guarantee it's a fake story. It's so ridiculous. I'm sure there's something to do with alligators or something, but who knows? I'm not even going to look into it unless it blows up a lot more. But this game, so South Alabama is who Nebraska plays. South Alabama and Gematria. 33. I talked about the significance of 33 in the last game. BYU even won with 33 points. Their coach is from Oregon, the 33rd state. Michael, his first name has a 33. Riley, his last name has a 33. He became a head coach at the age of 33. And now they're playing a team that adds up to 33. And this team also just so happened to win their game last week with a score of 33. I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. And Nebraska's favored by 28 points. They either are going to lose or it's going to be a close game. That's my guess. Could be completely wrong. But it's interesting that they're picked by 28, and last week they lost 33-28. I guess we'll see. Either way, I guarantee there's going to be something to do with. There's going to be a lot of 34-43, or even just the number 33. I just have a good feeling. Really, not a good feeling. I mean, it just seems like they're foreshadowing it, whatever. There's also a lot more to this, and I'll get to that in a second. I wanted to point out, too, that Michigan and Nebraska are two teams that I've talked about a lot. And Michigan plays Oregon State this week, and that is Nebraska's coach. That was his old team or whatever. Oregon, the 33rd state, whatever, like I said. And Michigan's favored by 15, but I've talked about how it's all about Lupercalia and sacrificing the wolf. And this is the last year that they would sacrifice the wolf because it's 2015, like 2/15, the last day of Lupercalia. So who knows? I think Michigan, I don't think is going to win either. And it's sad because I used to love sports and Michigan was my team. Anyway, the reason that I say this here is so South Alabama. I mean, I found some really interesting things about them. First thing is, look where they play. They play in Mobile, Alabama. Now, I just made a video about all the falling stuff that's been in the news, or just falling, whatever in general. You have the stock market. You had the news reporting shooter who died in Falls Church, Virginia. September 23rd, the day the Pope will be in the United States, is the first day of fall. Also in the U.S. Open, you had the Jack Sock guy who collapsed, so he fell down. And then later that night, you had the drone that fell into the stadium. And so it's the day before 13-9-139. And I talked about Dave Grohl falling, and that's why Kanye West played at Glastonbury. and it foreshadowed a bunch of stuff about Freddie Gray and Taylor Swift and everything else. Made previous videos on it. It will take way too long to re-explain, but this team was only established in 2009. That's the same year that the Taylor Swift, Kanye West stuff started. Was at the VMAs on September 13th, and this is the day before when they play Nebraska. Anyway, in this video, I talked about how this flight it tied in to the U.S. Open and the following and whatnot. And this flight that wrecked or whatever, it started in Miami, then it went to Melbourne and Tampa, but then it went to the second stopover was Louis Armstrong in New Orleans Airport, and at the U.S. Open it was in the Louis Armstrong Stadium, and I can't even remember it all. I don't want to take the time to go watch it right now, but Louis Armstrong, whatever, and then the next one was Mobile, Alabama. So that was, and I said something about, I think something could happen in Mobile, Alabama because it's on 88 degrees west or whatever, and it just, whatever, it's right here. I thought maybe they're doing something in order, and I didn't know what these other ones were, but interesting. I made a video about Nebraska right after that, and then now I notice that the team they're playing this week is from Mobile, Alabama. And the game is actually in Nebraska, though. But anyway, it says their rivals are Troy and Louisiana Lafayette. Just makes me think of the Lafayette shooting, or the theater shooting or whatever. Clicked on here. Here's the 88 degrees west, whatever. And wow, I'm leaving that 238 that just flashed up in here. This stupid trackpad, I can't figure it out. But 238 the day before, the 239th day. All has to do with Rona, whatever. But this school was actually founded 52 years ago. So we've talked about 52 like crazy. Has an annual payroll of $404 million. The King James Bible came out 404 years ago in 1611. Revelation has 404 verses. But anyway, you scroll down and you read about the football team on this page, and it says it's led by this guy, Joey Jones, but when you click on him, it's actually not the right Joey Jones. It takes you to this Welsh international football fullback. But I mean, look when he was born. 3/4 of 1955. Did I not just say in the Nebraska video that I've been seeing the number 34 and 55 together a lot? And 34 is all about Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, the real Joey Jones that coaches the football team is right here. Look at that. He is 52 years old. He will be 53 this year. Even says that he played college football for Bear Bryant, blah, 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 Bear Bryant. He was born on September 11th, so this game will be played the day after, I guess, or he would have turned 102 years old the day before this game is played. But his name in Gematria, 106 and 43, Philadelphia train wreck, Civil War stuff. Even died at the age of 69. And 69 adds up to 139, like 913, and 912 is the day before. Another thing is their first bowl game then was in 2014, so last year, and they actually lost 28-33, just like the Nebraska game last week. Nebraska lost 28-33, so maybe they're doomed, but I don't know. It would be a pretty big upset to most people if Nebraska lost on Saturday. So, like I said, who knows? Also, when I see this here, Camellia Bowl or whatever, it reminds me so much of Prince Charles, the guy who would be king if Queen Elizabeth dies, his new wife or whatever, Camilla. Who knows? Doesn't have to mean much, but I looked up Camellia or whatever. It's actually like this flower here, but look, it was named after the Jesuit botanist, this guy. And look, you can't make it up. He was born on the same day Queen Elizabeth was born, and then he died on 5/2. But even the year 1661, that is when King Charles II died. Or, I mean, not actually, he didn't die. He was coronated on 2 days after this. I'll just pull it up really quick. Sorry for stumbling, but it's a lot to remember. April 23rd, 1661. And then he died on the same day that Queen Elizabeth became the queen. In the year of 85 of all years. Anyway, for some reason I was thinking that Camellia was one of Obama's daughters. I couldn't think of what it was. It's actually Malia. But I was scrolling through here. This has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but anyway, they talk about Obama. September 27th, that's the last day Pope Francis will be in the United States in Philadelphia, talking about his religious views as being a Christian, blah blah blah. He did it up here, and then it was kind of a little bit different down here. But I remember he went to this church with Jeremiah Wright, and look at Jeremiah Wright. September 22nd, the day Pope Francis is coming to the United States, also born in Philadelphia. So very interesting. And I remember this from a long time ago. I put him on my Facebook, and just as a joke, as my profile picture or whatever. But look, well, hold on. His name in Gematria, 262 and 109. Both numbers I just talked about in my previous video about how these numbers have been following me. 109 is brand new to me, but the 262 it's been all over me for a while now. Just weird. And this bowl game was actually on 12/20 of last year. So I just took 12/20 and to the game they play Nebraska on 266 days. 9/23 is the 266th day. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. So I guess who knows? Nebraska, I think Nebraska actually probably will win, but I just think the game's going to be super coded like all the other ones. Actually just going to end this one here. There is a bunch of stuff about the number 5 with this team as well. They had one of their players die that was number 5, whatnot. I'm not even going to go into that one. I actually want to get into the Abraham Lincoln stuff. It actually sort of ties into this, but I can only make 15-minute videos now, so whatever. Just going to end it here, and then, yeah, hopefully I can make another couple videos tonight that actually make a lot more sense, but basically just wanted to point out that I thought it was very strange that this team is from Mobile, Alabama, and I just talked about Mobile, Alabama and the falling theme, and then now they're playing the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who I also was talking about. So it just makes me think there's something really significant about this game, but who knows? So have a good night. Hopefully I might be able to get one more out tonight before I go to bed.